There's something almost magnetic about a woman who knows how to give a compliment the right way. Not a shallow, rehearsed line, not a vague, nice shirt thrown into the wind, but a well-placed, genuine, intentional compliment that hits a man at his core. And older women, when they learn how to use this skill, can become absolutely unforgettable to a man. But here's the truth that often goes unspoken. Most older women have been taught to either hold back their praise or sugarcoat it. Many were raised in a time where modesty was encouraged, especially when it came to expressing interest in a man. They were told not to appear too eager, not to chase, to wait for the man to do all the talking, all the complimenting, all the initiating. So what happens? Over time, these women stop saying what they truly think. They hold back the very thing that could make a man light up inside, a real, direct, honest compliment that doesn't feel forced or manipulative. And that's the problem. Because here's what men say in dozens of interviews, relationship studies, and even casual podcast conversations. When a woman compliments me, really sees me, I can't stop thinking about her. This isn't theory, it's fact. Let's break it down. In a 2021 study by the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships, researchers found that men who receive sincere personal compliments from women rated those women as more attractive, more memorable, and more emotionally impactful than women who focused only on physical appearance or surface-level conversation. In that same study, men described feeling noticed, validated, and even emotionally moved when a woman complimented a trait that was tied to their sense of identity, things like their work ethic, creativity, or leadership. One man in the study shared this. "A woman I met once told me I had a calm energy that made people feel safe. I swear I replayed that line in my head for days. No one ever said that to me before. It made me want to know her more." Now pause for a second. Let that sink in. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about his looks. It wasn't about the car he drove or how tall he was. It was a woman noticing something real in him and saying it. That's it. This is where the agitate comes in. Because if you're an older woman watching this, ask yourself this honestly. When was the last time you gave a man a compliment that made him feel something? Not just to be polite, not just to fill the silence, but something real. Something that made him stop and feel seen. By the way, if this is resonating and you've ever found yourself asking, why did he pull away when things were just getting good? We created something just for you. It's called the 7-Step Male Mind Decoder, and it breaks down exactly what's going on in his head, even when he won't say a word. You'll learn how to read the signals, spot real commitment, and stop second-guessing yourself. The link to download it is in the description, and yes, it's free. Too many women let this superpower sit on the shelf. They hold back from telling a man he's brilliant at something, or that he handled a tough situation with real grace, or that his sense of humor helped them feel relaxed. And by holding back, they miss the one thing that makes men open up emotionally. See, men are starved for appreciation. That's not an exaggeration. According to a 2019 YouGov survey, over 63% of men said they rarely or never receive compliments from anyone. Not friends, not co-workers, not partners. And yet, 81% of those same men said they remember compliments for years if they feel authentic. Think about that. A compliment from you, one line, could be something a man remembers 5, 10, 20 years later. Not because it stroked his ego, but because it acknowledged something deeper. And that's where the solution begins. Because here's what older women do differently when they learn this approach. They don't just say, "You look handsome," or "That's a nice suit," "That's generic," "That's background noise." They dig deeper. They say things like, "The way you explain that, it shows how deeply you understand people. I watched how you stayed calm when that guy lost his temper. That kind of patience is rare. You've got a quiet confidence that's hard to find. It made me feel safe being around you." Do you feel the difference? It's specific, it's emotionally intelligent, it's personal, and it doesn't feel performative. Let's ground this even more in a real-world case study. Back in 2018, a dating and relationship coach named Matthew Hussey conducted a social experiment with a group of women over the age of 50. The challenge was simple: approach 10 men in 1 week and offer a compliment that wasn't about looks. Focus on something behavioral, emotional, or character-based. Here's what happened. 80% of those men responded with genuine gratitude and curiosity. Over half of them asked for follow-up conversation, and several ended up asking those women out. One participant, a 58-year-old woman named Sheila, complimented a man on how he helped his elderly father out of a cafe chair. She said, "That moment said everything about your character. Your dad is lucky to have you." That man paused, smiled, and said, "Wow, no one's ever said that to me. That means a lot." They talked for 40 minutes. They met again. They dated for 3 months. What changed? Just one thing. A different kind of compliment. Now let's unpack the mechanics so you can apply it in your own life. These are the kinds of compliments that make men swoon. Not in the Hollywood sense, not in a flirt until you win kind of way, but in a connection sense, a respect sense, this woman actually sees me kind of way. Number 1, compliment what he does, not just what he has. Instead of saying, "Nice car," say, "It's clear you've worked hard to build something for yourself. I respect that." Why it works? This shifts the compliment from materialism to values. Men feel proud of their effort, not just their result. Number 2, compliment his emotional impact. For example, "You have a calm presence. I feel more at ease when you're around." This is rare. Most men never hear this, but deep down, they want to know how they make others feel. Number 3, compliment his growth or self-awareness. Let's say he shares a story about learning from failure. Try. It takes strength to reflect like that. Most people run from that level of honesty. You're telling him he's emotionally evolved. That's huge, especially for older men who may not always hear that they're still growing. Now let's go deeper into what this kind of compliment does to a man internally. Biologically, men, just like women, are wired to seek connection. But many men were raised to suppress emotional expression. When you give a compliment that validates something deeper, you disarm that defense. You create a space where he feels safe to open up. Neurologically, the brain releases dopamine and oxytocin during meaningful conversations. Compliments tied to emotional truth trigger this chemical cocktail, making the moment feel memorable. In other words, you become chemically unforgettable. Another real story. A 62-year-old man named Barry shared in an interview that one compliment from a woman in his church made him rethink dating entirely. She said, "You're the kind of man who brings peace when you walk into a room. That's leadership most people don't recognize." Barry said, "She saw something in me I didn't know others noticed. I couldn't stop thinking about her. They got coffee. They got married 2 years later. And what made it happen? One compliment." So if you're an older woman watching this, you have a choice. You can keep holding back. You can keep quiet. You can keep playing small with your words. Or you can start showing up with compliments that cut through the noise. You don't need to be poetic. You don't need to flatter. You just need to notice and say what you see. It might sound like this. You listen in a way that makes people feel heard. That's rare. The way you spoke up for that guy at the restaurant, that showed real character. I can tell you're the kind of man who doesn't quit when things get tough. That says a lot. Each one of these lines costs you nothing, but to a man who rarely hears anything beyond surface level praise, it's like water in a desert. So here's your next step. Practice. Start noticing the men around you, not for how they look, not for what they own, but for who they are. Watch what they do when no one's looking. See what lights them up, and then say something. One line, no need to follow it with anything else. Just deliver the compliment, smile, and let it land. You'll be amazed what happens, because men don't forget women who notice them. Not their face, not their clothes, but their soul, their values, their presence. And older women, you have decades of wisdom that makes your words carry even more weight. When you speak, it's not teenage flattery, it's life-tested truth. And when that truth takes the shape of a compliment, it becomes irresistible. So don't wait. Next time you see a man doing something quietly great, say it. You just might become the woman he can't stop thinking about. If you're tired of guessing what he's thinking and you're ready to attract a man who actually shows up the way you deserve, go grab your free copy of the 7-Step Male Mind Decoder. It's helped thousands of women cut through the confusion and finally feel confident in love again. Just click the link in the description to get instant free access.